Morning, family, friends, followers, students. Dr. Jimmy Henderson. Cognitive scientist. I want to wish you all the best for the new year. And I want to talk today give you a preview of my new book coming out next year called Understanding Reality. I'll be working from a basis of energy. In other words, the assumption that energy is the basis of what we see and experience. And this has been obviously been proven by science that our senses respond to different types of modes and levels and frequencies of energy. And that's how we see and hear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a deeper look at reality and say what I think understanding our sense of reality has got a lot to do with our senses, and it's got to do with interpretation that we give to what we see, to the cues that we see outside there. And also, if I had to explain it to you, what is really reality, what it really is, I think we've got different levels of understanding. In the same way, you've got different relative truths. Let me explain this using an example of the sunrise. We all know what a sunrise is. We love a sunrise, and it's beautiful. And your parents told you that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. We all accept that. It's a truth, but it's a relative truth. And the reason for that is that the sun actually is not rising. It's the earth that's moving, the earth that's rotating, and it gives us the appearance of the sun rising. So in other words, the sunrise is a relative truth. And you could go deeper and deeper into astronomical movements and the movements around the sun and all that. We'd go even deeper and deeper into truth, how a sunrise works and how the planets work. The same goes with reality. There was a good story with, you remember Alice in Wonderland? And she went down this rabbit hole. And the deeper she went, the crazier things became. That's pretty much about reality there, how we can describe reality in terms of science and in terms of psychology. In other words, the deeper we are prepared to go down the rabbit hole, the crazier it's going to get. Why I say this is because we can accept reality as physical. We can touch it, we can see it, we can smell it, you can hear it, and we can accept that, and we can go through life living perfectly natural, normal life, accepting reality as physical. But science has actually proven that this physicality that we see is actually particles. Now, almost like a sandcastle. It looks solid enough, but you can kick it over with your foot, and it becomes particles of sand. So scientists have already proven, actually, that physical objects are composed of particles called atoms, and they've actually photographed these, so they're able to prove that. And that is one step down the rabbit hole. So you can accept either things like this are physical and you can touch them, or you can go to another level and say, yes, but they're actually composed of particles called atoms. If you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, then you can say that, yes, but these particles of atoms are also composed of subatomic particles, electrons, protons, neutrons. So you can go to a deeper level of reality, and you can accept that. If you are scientifically minded, you can actually go now deeper than that, because scientists are starting to speculate now on the nature of these subatomic particles, and they've come to the conclusion that they are nothing more than just different polarities interacting with each other, different forms of energy, different polarities of energy that are interacting with each other, and then coming together to form energy type structures, which we then see as reality. Then I can take you one step further. The final step I want to deal with you today is taking it even further. Famous physicists like Einstein actually came up with the idea that everything is energy. And in other words, those subatomic particles, as I said, are composed of polarities of energy. And then Erwin Schrödinger, you might have heard of Schrödinger's cat, the analogy. He has actually taken it one step further. And he has said that, yes, but but behind this energy is a form of consciousness, an intelligence, a universal mind. And that appeals to me as a cognitive scientist. In other words, he takes it right down to human perception, almost like we are creating our own sense of reality with our consciousness. So it all depends on how far you want to go in terms of the rabbit hole. Right at the end of it now we come to universal mind, consciousness, which from Erwin Schrödinger, and this will of course appeal to religious, spiritual, mystical people, because that would imply that there's the divine intelligence or some sort of intelligence which is driving this whole process of creation. And that, as I say, would appeal to religious, spiritual people. So yeah, maybe we're going back in a circle. It could be the case. But so reality would be what you want it to be and what level that you are comfortable with. And whether you see it as purely physical or whether you see it as purely energy, it's all up to you. It doesn't change what's actually happening there. It just depends on how deep you want to go into the matter and how you want to make sense of it. So I want to thank you and invite you to have a look at my website, www.discoveringyourself.co.za. Some of my latest books. Lovely friends, the book Understanding Reality is now available, and I think that you will find it very, very interesting. Thank you.